2 balls and a strike to count on Taylor. Reyes fires, swing and a drive, deep left field. This is way back. Walk the ball. Let's Taylor.
What's up, everyone? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined by Matt Moreno, and today we're talking Dodgers relief pitchers. We know Kenley Jansen remains a free agent, but hey, if you wanted to feel a little better about the Dodger bullpen, ESPN recently ranked the top 10 relief pitchers in baseball, and the Dodgers' new presumed closer, Blake Treinen, comes in at number 4 on that list. 1.99 ERA in 72 innings last year, Matt. He was among the best in baseball at limiting barrels and hard contact. As a result, Buster Olney's got him behind Liam Hendriks, Josh Hader, and Emmanuel Clase. Are you surprised to see Blake Treinen as the 4th best relief pitcher in all of baseball?
I think the only surprise is that I felt like he wasn't necessarily being given, I don't want to say respect, but recognition for as good as he has been, now for 2 years with the Dodgers. So that's the only kind of surprising component, is that Buster Olney and kind of on a national level had him that high. To me, I definitely do think he's at minimum a top 5 relief pitcher. I've liked Treinen. I thought re-signing him after the 2020 season was going to be key.
Yeah.
And, he did have some rough spots. Obviously, no relief pitcher is perfect, but he's somebody who is proven capable to pitch in any inning, really, any scenario, and that's been valuable for the Dodgers.
Yeah, and an unbelievable bargain, by the way, on that contract that he signed with the Dodgers. The thing about Treinen that's fascinating is this is a guy that, 4 or 5 years ago had an unbelievable season with the Oakland A's, where it was like next level, one of the best seasons you'll ever see out of a relief pitcher. Kind of struggles a little bit. The Dodgers bring him in. He's very good. I don't think his first season with the Dodgers was quite as elite as the one he just put together, but then he puts together this one. Again, 1.99 ERA. And the thing about Treinen that feels underrated is his durability. This is a guy that pitches a ton of innings. He can get you more than 3 outs if you need it. 72 innings last season. There's no moment that's too big for him. We've seen him in the postseason have unbelievable success. Again, even if they're asking him to go get 4, 5, or 6 outs. And so I'm with you. I think it's hard to compare relief pitchers sometimes because there are so many of them. It's like you can look across closers, but sometimes the best relief pitcher, case in point, the Dodgers last season, isn't necessarily the closer. And so it's always hard to gauge, but I'm with you. When you see a guy like Buster Olney put respect on Blake Treinen's name and say, hey, he's the number 4 relief pitcher in baseball, that feels pretty good. Now, knowing this and believing this, like if the Dodgers were to not sign Kenley Jansen, do you thinking, you know what, we already have a top 5 relief pitcher in all of baseball? Like, does even Treinen getting recognition on a list like this, do you think this changes the perception even among fans if Jansen were not to come back?
Definitely. I think I thought you were going to direct that specifically for me, and I was going to say no. Like, I've been plenty comfortable with Blake Treinen.
I've been the low guy on Blake Treinen, so I'm the one that's got to eat my words a little bit.
So you and probably a portion of fans I would imagine, yes, would be more open to the fact and more receptive to, hey, our plan is actually going to have Blake Treinen now become the closer.
Yeah.
We didn't re-sign Kenley Jansen for XYZ if that's what ends up happening. What will be interesting, though, is the Dodgers leaned, like I alluded to earlier, the Dodgers leaned on Treinen in a multitude of roles and innings. And Dave Roberts, when Kenley went through some struggles last year, Dave Roberts was asked, like, Blake Treinen is pitching really well. Are you considering maybe putting him in the closer role? Said no. One of the reasons was Roberts obviously was very loyal and committed to Kenley.
Yeah.
Another reason was he highlighted Treinen's versatility and ability to pitch in a bunch of different scenarios as being valuable to the team, and the Dodgers not having another relief pitcher who would then fill that void. So as much as I would be comfortable with Treinen being a closer, I think that would then become a pretty significant question.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a new world when it comes to baseball and how relief pitchers are deployed, and it does feel like you have this fireman role is what they call it, which when there's a fire, it doesn't matter if it's in the 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th innings, this is the guy that you go to. Treinen was that guy. Joe Kelly, to a lesser extent, was that guy. And yet you need a closer. You need somebody that you can trust in the biggest, most high-pressure moment of the game in the 9th in order to utilize somebody like Treinen like they have. So fascinated to see how that plays out. One other note on this list, and I couldn't believe this. Speaking of Kenley Jansen, somebody we've mentioned a number of times, Kenley Jansen was not in the top 10, which, okay, we know he's been a little bit of a roller coaster. You ask any Dodger fan if he's a top 10 relief pitcher in baseball, you're going to get a wide variety of responses, right? Only went on to name 11 guys below the top 10, sort of like others receiving votes type category. Kenley Jansen was not among the 11. So as far as I'm interpreting this, Buster Olney is telling me that Kenley Jansen is not among his top 21 pitchers in all of baseball. Am I crazy for thinking that is absolutely wacky?
No, not at all. And that definitely was surprising to me as well. I think, if you want to argue whether Kenley is top 10 or not, that could go either way. And I wouldn't be completely surprised to see it fall in either direction. But for him to not be named in, like you said, kind of the honorable mention group, when that spanned 11 additional relief pitchers,
Crazy.
is like, I don't know how you really do that. And, Kenley, he went through a rough stretch last year, and it came against the Giants. And so it was magnified even more. But if you look at his season as a whole, and when you then factor in what he bounced back from in 2020, it's even more impressive.
Yeah. 2.22 ERA last season. He threw 69 innings, had 38 saves. He had a strikeout per 9 of 11.22. I mean, you just look down the list of this guy's statistics. His expected ERA was 2.83. That's fantastic. His FIP was 3.08. That's fantastic. 1.8 wins above replacement. I don't know. I mean, I suppose, does he have top 10 stuff? Maybe not. But, I just don't know how you could look at a guy who was the closer and a very good closer on the best team in baseball with the most pressure, and a guy who, to your point, has done this consistently. It's not like a one-year aberration. It's like you have about a decade, almost a decade and a half of evidence that Kenley Jansen is this guy. And so, to me, that was the most shocking thing. I mean, I think I was surprised that Treinen was as high as he was, but I was way more surprised, way more shocked that Kenley Jansen was as low as he was. And I'm fascinated to see how that impacts the free agent market. Because if Buster Olney doesn't see him as a top 21 relief pitcher, Kenley Jansen surely is thinking he's going to get paid as a top 10 relief pitcher. And so is there a team out there that's going to give him $15, $16 million a year to go and play, to go and be their closer at his age? He's going to be 34 in 2022. You look at Steamer, by the way. Steamer is projecting him to have a 4.06 ERA next year. That's Kenley Jansen. And 0.5 wins above replacement. That would be his lowest since 2018. That would be the worst ERA of his career by far. He has never gone above 3.71. So there's some rumblings, some people out there, some metrics out there that aren't big Kenley Jansen fans. We'll see how that impacts his free agency. So let us know what you think below. Which is crazier to do, Treinen in the top 5 or Kenley Jansen outside of the top 21? That's Matt Moreno. My name is Jeff Spiegel. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us. Check out DodgerBlue.com for all the latest. Hopefully some lockout updates coming in the days and weeks ahead. DodgerBlue 1958 on social media everywhere. Click subscribe. Ring the notification bell. We'll see you soon.